another episode of Evolving Through Experience, where we talking about everything growth, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and beyond, because it just never stops. We have to continue to grow in every aspect and prevail our lives. So today, y'all, we have a very special guest. Really, all my guests are very special, let's be clear. But this is definitely a vital one I wanted to put out early. We have Shakespeare Baggs. I was about to say Biggs, but Baggs. I know that's not the real one, but yeah. But Stevie Baggs, yeah.
Nah, bro.
How you feeling, bro?
Man, supreme.
Yeah.
For real, bro.
Should.
Thanks for having me in the building.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about the conversation.
Nah, I'm excited too, man. I know it's just gonna be a long conversation, more than likely. I know we ain't even gonna be able to fit everything in this conversation.
Yeah.
But let's start behind the scenes first. Let's just start. Who are you and how did you get to, before we get to who you are today, just who are you, where you from? Let's start there.
All right, but before I go into that, I wanna tell you that I appreciate you for having me on the platform and seeing something in me to be able to add some value to what you have going on.
Appreciate that.
And so before I answer my question, I want to ask you, what's your why? Like, why did you have me come on?
Truth be told, it's more than one answer, but to keep it short, it's like I said, when we first met, man, you know, when energy is just like in sync, you can feel it. It's like, it's not even a thing that I could describe all the time, but from our initial conversations, just talking about, we was on the same timing, and our conversations from the Valley was just like, yo, like, I see that I'm leading in the right direction, because obviously you're older than me, and obviously I think, I don't know, I mean, you're a mentor to some degree, yeah, like, and not necessarily meaning old age, but it's like you have something, the energy, I felt that, and then from our conversation, it was just like, okay, I'm headed in the right path, because as a young person, it's like, you may not get that all the time from older people sometimes, or even your peers. So when I felt that energy, and then this all of our conversation, and then even staying connected over the time, it was just like, all right, this is needed.
That's
for
love.
Sure, man.
That's love.
For sure.
No, it's matter of fact, I just left the Valley. I just left Fort Valley about 3 weeks ago.
Okay. You was just spoke at a commencement, right?
I just did a commencement for Russ College.
Okay, Russ.
Last weekend, but man, listen, I'm just very, very thankful to be here once again. And you know, I'm from a city called Pompano Beach, Florida, down in South Florida, man, and I was brought up in a kind of traditional setting. It was all melanated, but I had both my parents, you know, until the age of 14. My parents got a divorce, but my upbringing was really traditional in the sense of being in the South, going to church. I grew up in a Pentecostal setting, so it was like, for me, it was like I didn't even get a chance to listen to secular music till I was a certain age. My parents didn't let us do everything and anything, and you know, as I lift the veil and become and have become more grounded and convicted on what I stand on to know is my truth, right? I still can appreciate those days, right? And I can appreciate being covered and being in a place where I had that love, you know, and I give my parents, man, I pay homage to both of them, because, you know, they were babies when they had me. They were 17, 18 years old when they had me, you know, and so, you know, as you look at how the universal God, the creator of all things, gave you a chance to still be chosen in the midst of that. I'm just thankful, bro.
Nah, for sure, as you should be, and I'm glad you said that, because do you feel like, you said, in what age do you feel like you started opening that higher level of understanding, like, for what your truth, what you found your truth to be? Because that's exactly what we're gonna dive right into it at this point. You already brought it in.
No,
so
I
let's go.
it. I love it. You know, as I matriculated through, you know, elementary, middle school, high school, college, there's always levels of you know, enlightenment, or levels of degrees of openness and learning, right? And evolving as you would. But, you know, playing in the NFL and CFL and recognizing how the sports and the business world and how everything is based on relationships and how those relationships are formed and how those relationships are cultivated has a lot to do with how people view you.
Correct.
You know, whether their view of you when they see you, their impression of you when they hear you speak, all of those things really matter. Correct. So your religion, your politics, your education, your economic, and your social status, I call them the 5 Ps. Those are all the things that, you know, this 5 power structures that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. That's how you are looked at in this system.
Correct.
And so as I receive more information going through life, I lifted another veil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Spiritually. Continuing to lift them. And the more I know what I don't know. So,
that part.
you know, it was an age where I would ask a question as a elementary student that someone may have said, man, why was the elementary student asking that? Right. And then you go in middle school and then they, well, dang. Yeah. And so there was points in times where people knew you were different.
Correct.
You always been picked out to be picked on in a sense. And that differentness, being an alien, so to speak, kind of, you start to be more grounded and more comfortable in that space when you know your value, you know, and you know your worth. Yeah.
No, and I'm glad you said that because, like you said, the questioning, I think we got to question everything. I think people think when you say question everything, they take it lightly. Like, no, you literally you have the ability, the freedom to really question everything. And like you said, being young, and that's where I know I've questioned things. Like you seen Hidden Colors, right? You had to, okay, of course you've seen them. So I've seen Hidden Colors at a young age, but before I even seen it, it's like these are questions I've been having just from that, like, and not even, that's just one aspect of it. Exactly. But it's like every time I would ask it would be shut down. Like, why would you ask that? Like, it's like so absurd to ask like vital questions. Like, I'm just supposed to just follow whatever everybody else said and just do it because they said it. Or why can't I not ask it? And if it's so valid, you should be able to answer that question without bashing me for asking it. So when you, so what you said, when did you see Hidden Colors?
I was in my late 20s.
Okay.
When I seen the first one.
Okay.
Or maybe early 30s.
Yeah.
But a lot of that information I had already been privy to, and it was already, you know, on my table.
Correct.
Right. But it was good to uncover it and unpacking it in a more concrete manner.
Correct.
From other people, right? Because you know, as you know, the road of consciousness is a lonely one sometimes.
Of course.
You know, when you're alienated, it's because you're alien. You know, like I mentioned earlier. Exactly. You know, and so that road to enlightenment is beautiful. To me, I think the biggest thing as an adult that's changed my whole approach on how I look at things is being able to learn and know the name. And when I say the name, I'm talking about the name of Yahweh, Yud-Heh-Wah-Veh. That's what changed my life, because I recognize, not from a religiosity perspective, but from a truth perspective.
Correct.
That we've been taught to hold on to tradition instead of truth. We've been taught to hold on to religion instead of righteousness. And so righteousness can be slapping you in the face, but you would hold on to religion. Or truth could be slapping you in the face, but I hold on to tradition, right? And nothing against anyone who has those types of mentality, right?
Of course.
But because there was a time when I celebrated Christmas. There was a time when I celebrated Mother's Day. But now I recognize I can celebrate my mother and my father every day.
Correct. Agreed.
You know, I recognize Easter bunnies don't lay eggs, chickens lay eggs. You know, you respell Santa, it's Satan. So it's like all those things became
that part.
You know, my truth.
Yeah.
But I still am empathetic to those who are still in that space, because I was once there as well, you know?
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that, because that's why even having these conversations, we got to make sure we highlight that, because everybody's on their own timeline. I know that. I'm on my own timeline. It's some things I don't even know yet. And it's at points where I knew it. And it's like, I'm not trying to bash nobody. Even now, just for example, like people like, why you went vegan or whatnot? And it's like, bro, like literally, like this is life or death for me. It's like life or death for me, because if we can't half step our greatness. We can't half step our health. We can't half step any of it. It's like we have to be all in or all out. And you can't go. So it's like those are the exact reasons on why this is, like I said, it's a healthcare company. This is more than a podcast. I don't care about no podcast. This is like life or death for me and so many other people, because it's like, yo, if we don't grow and we don't really tap into new levels spiritually and continue to keep going, it's like it's never gonna be good.
So the most important word in the 5 P's is spirit. You can't change anything else. You can't change your health. You can't change your mindset. You can't change your wealth until you change your spirit.
Correct.
So politically, economic, education, social, and spirit. For me, those 5 power structures are very key and important for our people to really start to tap into. But we have to first tap into the spirit.
Correct.
Like I'm not a black activist. I'm not an Aboriginal indigenous activist. I'm a spiritual activist.
Yeah.
You know, I come to activate the spirit. You know what I mean? And once you tap into people's spirit and their soul, now you can really make a shift for real. But the greatest speech I'll ever give is the life I live. So nobody wants to hear what you say. They want to see it, the fruit of it. Right? And unfortunately, we live in a time, in a place where intuition, clairvoyance, and discernment is at the back burner to taste, touch, see, smell, and hear. So if I taste, touch, see, smell, and hear what you're saying, and the fragrance and the taste is good, and the look is good, now I'm more amped to hear you.
Correct.
Or even listen to you. So, but what if you have all of it?
Correct.
What if you look the part and you are the part spiritually? What if you have Bentley entitlement, but also Bentley stewardship? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have Bentley entitlement behind the civic stewardship. You don't have what you want because you're not what you want.
Yeah.
Right? And so you have to, the only way you get there is going within, as you know that. And that's the spiritual walk.
No,
the invisible side, the invisible world is the most important world that we live in.
And what would you say, what was like a main or a pivotal part in your life that really took it to the next level for you spiritually? Like what was, whether that was, obviously it's an experience, but whatever that experience was, whether it was physical, spiritual, whatever, like what was that?
So in my first book, Greater Than the Game, I talk about football. It was like 7 F's.
Yeah.
Faith, family, fitness, finance, focus, forgiveness, and football. The football was my greatest teacher during that time of my life because it was hard for me to love something that didn't love me back. Correct. So when I was in the NFL, I call NFL affectionately niggas for lease. They used to sell slaves, now they lease them.
Nah, for
and
real.
There's a reason why. And that's not have anything to do with race.
Yeah.
This is talking about ignorance.
Yeah.
This is talking about being dark to whatever energy you're in.
Correct.
You're in the dark of it. You're ignorant to it. So if I'm ignorant to a system, you know, the body is made up of systems.
Correct.
The mind is made up of systems. So if you're ignorant to the systems, then you'll be ignorant to your potential inside of that system. And so that was the first thing that lifted the veil for me when I was in the league, because I recognized at this point it's not about your talent.
Yeah.
It's not about how good. I was Black College Player of the Year. I was a 3-time All-American. I won the same award as Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, and Michael Strahan. Right?
Talk about
like,
it.
I mean, it was like, and I got to say that because at the end of the day, a lot of the times we think it's about our ability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of our inability.
Correct.
Our inability to tap into what system you're dealing with.
Correct.
And once you do that, you overstand and understand
both
how to maneuver, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nah, that's so vital. I'm glad you said, like you said, understand the inability, because it's like we always look without like other places, feeling like, yo, like, and that's where I feel like I'm grateful because I found that out young. And obviously I know I've been here before. So it's like finding that out young, like, yo, go inside, like everything I need is within me already. I just got to find it. Whether that search may be lonely search, but it's there. And it's like, once you adapt that mindset, it's like, I think it comes a lot quicker for you. So with that, oh, do you agree?
No, man,
okay.
1000%. Because I can only be 100% inside of this conversation, I guess. But I totally agree with you, because the time is speeding up. So whereas I became a little bit more aware at 27, 26, 28, now you at 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like my OGs and my mentors are always telling me, hey, bro, like, look, man, you the one. You got it. I wish I thought like that when I was 40. 1 year young. And now I'm telling you the same thing. Correct. Bro, when I was 23, man, I you know, but everything is for its time and its purpose and it's divine timing.
Correct. Divine timing,
And you know, there's a verse, man, biblically that I always resonate with now in this time. And it says that the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. You don't have to be right, homie. You got to be righteous.
Facts.
Righteousness is based on your intentions. And the word intentions begin with So to me, that's why I said earlier, the invisible world, the most important words in the English language starts with intellect, integrity, insecurities, insight, information. That part. Right? Exactly. So if I go within, I'll never be without.
That part.
Right? My output is based on my what? Input.
Exactly. Every time. There's no way around it.
Whether whatever I'm consuming. If I'm consuming my food, my TV, my music, my government, my education system, all of that, whatever I consume, that's going to determine my output.
That part.
Yes, sir.
And what would you say you do now, like a pivotal thing you do now to keep this foundation? Well, of course, still building that foundation, because I think people think just because we speak like this and we not necessarily portray an image, but it's like we're constantly bettering ourselves. They only think we all good, but it's like on the back end, behind closed doors, it's like we still have our battles too. So what do you say is like a constant thing you do, whether that's daily, monthly, weekly, that you just pretty much go through?
No, first of all, that's a profound question, because you're right. When you come across to people, your image image you project, when it's a righteous or holy or divine image, sometimes people hold you to that standard to a fault without understanding and overstanding. Once again, understanding that the most important thing I do is self-inventory.
Yeah.
I do self-inventory. So you can't judge me and tell me what I already know about myself. Remember 8 Mile and Eminem, he started cracking on himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if I give a speech or if I say something, usually I've been through it or I'm talking about me.
Exactly.
I got to do better in the area of what I consume, who I'm around, fasting more, being more grounded, right? And not allowing what I can't do to interfere with what I can do. And what I can do is stay grounded. What I can do is not be in fear of my past or my present. Or my future.
Yeah.
If you are in fear of your past or your future, you're dealing with anxiety and depression.
Exactly.
So if you're wavering in between those two spaces, you won't be grounded enough in the present to be able to make sound choices and decisions. Exactly. And when you're in a world like we live in, you're always gonna have to deal with anxiety and depression fighting you daily to be able to say, hey man, would you stand up?
Yeah.
Hey man, would you sit down?
Yeah.
Hey man, will you keep going? Never give up. Or hey man, just slow down. Right? Like sometimes we don't understand the importance of that. Yeah. Right? We think that sitting still sometimes is a curse and a crime in today's world. Yeah. You can evolve and sit still.
Exactly.
You can be grounded and still elevate.
Exactly.
You can't elevate until you are on the ground. You gotta first elevate, be grounded.
Nah, for sure.
So I do self-inventory. And I'm talking about real true self-inventory. Like, bro, you did some green ass shit today. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Bro, that was flawed. You shouldn't have said that. Yeah. Man, you might want to go apologize. Yeah. Like that kind of work.
Yeah. And that's accountability.
Man, you shouldn't have ate that.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
That accountability.
Like if you can do that to yourself,
man,
I got chills thinking about it because that's what's propelled me to be able to, I think it's a certain level of stewardship. Yeah. Bro, that if you can't take care of what you have been gifted with from the Creator, which is your temple. Correct. Not just the physical temple working out and going to the gym. I'm talking about a new gym called guarding your mind, guarding your money, guarding your manhood. Like if you can't take care of that gym, bro, you working out is null and void. Because you got a 6-pack, but your credit score 540.
That part.
Right?
That part.
What about you got a 6-pack, but your consciousness is on E? It ain't even on F.
On fumes.
I'm talking about running on fumes, homie. Facts. So imagine a brother, holistic brother or sister, who their credit score is great, their spirituality's in balance, and their economics matches. That's a holistic being, and you don't have to have the money. You got to have the wealth. Yeah, it's a mindset. Exactly. That right? Heaven and hell is a mindset.
Exactly.
Prejudice, racism is a mindset. Being sick and being healthy, all of it's a mindset. And what's in the middle of the word mind? In. Exactly. So it goes back to that, bro. Yeah. And once we recognize how important it is, homie, to do that, now we put ourselves in a space to not allow any outside entity, person, place, or thing, to detract us from our purpose.
Exactly. And like I said, bro, like this is therapy for me, and I always gain something from every conversation. Even sometimes maybe just be a text, like you could feel the energy. You don't have to always be in person. So it's like this is therapy for me, and like today is a vital day too because I actually my family just had kidney surgery yesterday, right? My grandmother, my aunt, and it's like somebody my guy asked me like, why are you doing this today? You don't want to reschedule? It's like, no, bro, like this is so important to me because it's life or death. And like you said, it's a matter of, you said, not staying stagnant. And that's why you see, like, I got the stairs. It's like, you could be you may feel like you're on the same level. You always moving forward. Even if you get to the end, it's like you're still, now it's just taken to a new level. You're not at the end. It's going to keep going. It's like, you see, it's no
limitation.
There's no limitation on it. Yeah, that's why I left it open because it's like, bro, you're gonna keep going. And like I said, you're gonna keep reach new heights. And with that being said, I wanted to ask you, I know we'll go back to the therapy, but I know you said your mom and your dad had you at 17. Do you feel like that played, obviously it played a vital part, but what were the positive parts that it played on you having a daughter and being a parent?
So I have a daughter and a son. Honor and power.
Okay. Oh, I like that. Okay.
Honor gonna get on me because I don't have her thing on today. But
shout out to her.
Shout out to Honor. We know Daddy love you, baby.
For sure.
But my family dynamic was so important to me because me having children older, I now have way more grace for my parents at 17 and 18.
Yeah.
And if you don't have grace for the people that help bring you in this world,
To this day,
you tripping.
they helped me a lot.
Yeah, but I always say this.
Yeah.
I have a mom and a dad, but I only got one parent.
Okay.
Because I came through them, but I came from y'all.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
I got you. Yeah.
Just like honor and power.
Yeah.
Honor and power came through me, but they really belong to y'all.
Yeah.
And when you recognize that, I don't live my life for my children. I don't live my life for a spouse. I live my life for my purpose.
That
and
part.
if I'm doing the best version and being the best version of me for my purpose, they're gonna benefit off that immensely off the top.
Exactly.
It's kind of like them stairs. You got that circle, which represents the circle of life, and then you have Jacob's ladder, which you can keep coming up and down. Because if you get up to the top of the mountain, there's only one thing you could do up there. You're gonna get seen, and you can thrive, and you can have people shooting fiery darts at you, or you can come back down and help the people up who really need the help.
Exactly.
Or you can go conquer another mountain because, man, I did this one. Now I can evolve to the next one.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's the beautiful thing about it all. And so my family and my parents, knowing I'm my parents' parents at this point.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, no offense to them, but it's just what it is. It was a point in time when they became their parents' parents.
Yeah.
Right? And because time is speeding up, you might be your parents' parents sooner than later.
Yeah.
If not already.
Yeah.
Because to have the mindset and mentality you have and making it functional in your life, that's the key.
Exactly.
Because to know and not do is not to know. You know what I mean? If you know something but you ain't doing it, then you don't know it.
Yeah.
Because if you knew it, you would do it.
Yeah. That part.
Right? So that's why when you look at the state of our people, melanated people, and I always say melanated, and I can tell you why if you want to know, but the state of our people is the way it is because we don't want to repent and confess for being the original people. Because if you're original people, then you committed the original crime, the original transgression, the original sin.
Accountability.
Come on. Accountability or higher standard that we have to set for ourselves in order for us to be propelled to the next level that we're going to go to.
Exactly.
Which, walking in our dominion, walking in our order, and once we start to do that, we'll see the tide change. We'll see us being able to be walking opulence. And you don't see women. You see women talking about they bosses and divas and this and that, right? You don't see women saying, "Man, I'm bosses, divas, and independent."
Yeah.
You don't hear them saying, "I'm regal, I'm opulent, I'm virtuous." Those are words that's not in our vocabulary
That should be
anymore. You don't hear men talking about, "I'm noble, I'm divine."
I got a friend called, his name is Noble and such.
You see what I'm saying?
Honorary.
This is why my children name honor and power, because you can't have honor without power and power without honor. When we start calling our children these types of names, we give power to that energy that propels them to be able to walk in those names.
Exactly.
You walk around with a name Noble and you not practicing nobility.
You got a problem.
Your name is peace, but you're not peaceful. Something's wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But here we go. People want peace, but are you peaceful?
Yeah.
They want love, but are you lovable?
That part.
You know, they want these types of things.
Yeah.
But are you exhibiting that in your life? I go back to it. You don't have what you want because you're not what you want.
Exactly.
So everybody say, "I want peace, peace, peace." Well, the best peace starts where?
Within. Every time. It's never going to deviate.
It's not, bro. It's not.
And I'm glad you said that as far as your kid's name, because like with me, I got a son.
I'm gonna say children.
Children. I'm sorry.
And
explain why. Let's go. Let's explain why. Yeah.
The English language is full of ambiguity, and if I say here, you don't know if I'm talking about my ears or my presence. If I say bear, am I talking about the grizzly bear or bearing a child?
Yeah.
Right. If I say two, am I talking about TOO, TO, or TWO? So because of that, we have to have a level of specificity with what we call our children, what we call ourselves. This is why I mentioned earlier, I'm not black. If you take the B off of black, it's lack. And if you look at black in any other language, it means white. En français, you know, j'ai étudié français à l'école universitaire. Je parle français un petit peu. So as I studied French, I'm like, hold on, I'm looking at this word.
I dropped out of French.
It's all good. I just grew up with a lot of Haitians down there.
I got you.
In South Florida.
My brother Haitian, man. I got you.
So shout out to the Zoes, man. You know what I'm saying? So being from Pompano, it's a lot of Haitians. And so I took French in school, from high school, and then in college, getting that degree in international business, I took French. Yeah. But I'm studying the languages.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of Spanish people down there too. So in French and in Spanish, the word white is blanco and blanc.
Yeah.
That's closely spelled to black.
Yeah.
So I'm scratching my head like, hold up.
Yep.
So then
everything. Yep.
I looked up the word black in Latin. It means colorless, homie. Okay? So now imagine you calling yourself something. You're calling yourself black and you're saying, I'm colorless lives matter.
Yeah.
I'm colorless and I'm proud. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then you go to kids. Word kid really means baby goat or animal. So we wonder why our children act like animals, because we call them out of their name every day.
Exactly.
So imagine if you start calling them noble and honor and power and divine.
My son's name soon.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we start calling our children those names, now you automatically put that energy into the atmosphere, homie, that has to manifest.
Exactly.
Because the power of tongue speaks
so
what?
Valuable.
Life or death. You said this is about life or death.
It is.
The power of your tongue speaks the same thing.
Exactly.
So it's all scriptural for me at this point, because the Bible is stated truly, but it's just not truly stated. So because it's not truly stated, people are not able to grasp the mysteries in it.
Exactly.
To be able to live a life that is like I said, righteous. Not right, but righteous. Yeah.
Nah, man. Like I said, I appreciate that, because I learned something, like I said, every single time we speak.
Oh, man.
And it's like, and I already knew it's in like life and death in the tongue. So it's like, you got to really watch what you speak. And this is what goes back to when I was like taking my time trying to decide what I'm going to name my child. I wound up naming him Ermias. You already know what that means.
Come on,
bro.
No, break it down.
For the people that don't, it just means sent by God in Ethiopian. And at the end of the day, when I found out what that means, and then also my grandmother who passed, her name was Ernie. It was just like a combination. And then also, obviously, Nipsey played a vital role. Nip played a vital role into this and just overall. Because I was listening to Nipsey. Like I said, this is when things are getting to your spirit before you really could truly digest and understand what they really mean. Correct. So I'm listening to Nipsey 13, 14, I'm listening to him talking about mad different stuff. It's like I'm feeling the energy, but I didn't resonate with it then. But as over time, it's like these flowers, these seeds, they grew, and I'm like, yo, like that epiphany is like, okay, this is what it means. So it's like me as a young father, it's like I'm just taking it day by day, trying to learn and trying to be a better father at the end of the day to my child. So that's why also I'm glad you said your kid's name, because it's like, man, it's a lot raising a kid. So I want to know from your perspective, like, what's the biggest advice you can give to a young parent, a young father, parent in general, but father especially as a man from you?
I mentioned it earlier.
Okay.
To me, it's making sure that you have your purpose at the forefront.
At the forefront.
And I'm talking about being real about it, not saying, not being, because a lot of people, they think that being self-centered means being centered in self. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, don't be self-centered. But if you're centered in self, that's a good start.
Exactly.
Write down your goals. The prefix to the word authority is author. So when you write something down, you give it authority to come to pass. So if you want something, write it down. Because first you had to write it down in the tablets of your heart, in your mind, and then you bring it to the manifested to the physical form. And now it has absolutely no rhyme or reason why it won't happen, because you put it in the universe.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So
every time,
if you want to be a great parent, then say it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I write
Speak
that. I'm
those
glad
things.
you said it.
See what I'm saying?
And I've been writing for a minute, like journaling, really writing. So it's like I did this, and I got to actually, not that I'm not consistent with it now. It's like every day I made it, like I think I did it for like 30 to 45 days. Every day I just got up and I wrote different affirmations. I will be a better parent. I will do this. I will hit this financial goal. And the financial was the last thing. It's like, it's about the bigger things, like the spiritual aspect first for me, because you can get the bread, but it's like, if you're not centered, like you said, it's like centered within yourself, it's like, that's not going to matter.
I'm glad you said that. And the only reason I'm cutting you off is because children care about your presence and not your presence. Right?
Yeah.
It's your presence. And it's not about the quantity of your presence. It's the quality of your presence. just because you sitting there and they on the iPad, that's you there,
enough.
but you not present.
Yeah.
They literally, bro, just a phone call or just a, hey, son, look in your eyes. I love you.
Yeah.
All right, listen, you be a leader, not a follower. Like those little small things that my parents told me that resonate with me to this very day. It was all about the quality of that presence.
Yeah.
Dang, the Game Boy I got in Christmas. Forget about the bike.
Yeah.
Because those things wash away. They get old, they wither.
Forget about them.
But the intangible, man. Because legacy is not what you leave for people, homie. It's what you leave in people. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Back within.
Yeah.
It's not what you leave for them. Yeah. It's what you leave within them. That's what true legacy is. Because we know a lot of people who have a lot of money and left their children lands and cars and houses. And what do? They squandered it because they didn't understand the power of the purpose behind it. How did I get here? Exactly. The entitlement is so crazy now because people want to give their children everything. I'm not giving you nothing because you got to earn it like I did.
Okay, I would say, and I'm glad we having it because I think people got to understand you could disagree on something. So I want you to explain that why, because I feel like I think it's a balance in a sense of, obviously we want our children to know what hard work is in a sense, but we don't want them to have the same struggle we had. I think it's like trying to find that balance. And actually, Steve Harvey said it on an episode too. It's like, that's one thing a lot of people of y'all standard, like, or whatever, like millionaires that's been like in the limelight or whatever. It's like trying to figure out like, I've obtained all this because I've been homeless and broke. But it's like, how do I instill that hard work, dedication into my children without making them feel entitled, and 10 years down the line after I'm gone, they blew it because they didn't understand what it really took to get here. So how do you feel like that is? Because I feel like I don't want him to struggle at all. Why would I want my kid to struggle? But I do want him to have principles that understand like, yo, this is more than just blowing this. This is a lot more. Like, I worked hard for this.
If you dare to struggle, then you dare to win. If you dare not to struggle, then you don't deserve to win. Okay. So every great thing that has happened in your life came through a level of process, purging, and pain. You go to the gym, you got process, purging, and pain. Exactly. But damn, I feel good. I look good. You went through that class and that course to get that real estate information. Pain, process, and purging. Yeah. You could have been wasting time doing something else. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So they're gonna automatically win based off of my wins. So they're gonna be in a better house than I was when I grew up. They're gonna drive in a better car. They're gonna eat better food. Yeah. Right? They're gonna have more information because I'm that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not giving you nothing though. You want an allowance? You gonna earn it. Okay. You want them new J's? You gonna earn it. Yeah. Because guess what? If I leave that away from you and I keep giving, when you go into the world, and nobody in the world gives you anything, then you feel like I'm gonna take it. Yeah. That's why you got a lot of children in the suburbs killing people for some same Jordans right now, or a car, or some jewelry. Yeah. Right? Unfortunately. So somebody will roll on you for a rollie. Yeah. Right? Exactly. Because they didn't understand the power and the grind to get there, the pain, the process, and purging. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. So that's how I look at it. I took my daughter out to eat to a white glove restaurant, and I showed her what that looked like, and Dad opened the door. We took the little black card and all that. Yeah, that's cool. But at the end of the day, you better have straight A's. Yeah. At the end of the day, there's no reason for you not to have straight A's. You have the intellect and you have the resources. Exactly. I could see if you came home and the lights was off. I can see if you came home and, like I had to do sometimes, pull the oven open to warm up the house. Yeah. Okay. Or boiling water. Come on now. That part. So when you have a conversation like that, now, okay, I can understand why you're in a space where you're not excelling in every area of your life. Okay. But when you have the resources, makes sense. Different. And the resourcefulness, ain't no way in the world you shouldn't be doing it.
Nah, I see that perspective. Okay,
yes, sir. That's just mine. And that's cool. No harm, no shade, no foul on anybody else who wants to give their children everything. Yeah. I just have seen it. I work with children every day with my nonprofit, man.
We're gonna talk about that.
And I just see the holes in our society where all these babies got cell phones, and they don't understand that their cell phone gonna end up being their jail phone or their hell phone. Yeah, cell, yeah. Instead of looking at their L phone. Yeah. Their Elohim phone. That's the one you need to be calling. Right? But no. Society, what are they pumping out on these cell phones? Everything to keep our babies distracted. Exactly. And distraction comes before destruction, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. For us all.
Yeah. And I've definitely, even at my age, I'm taking accountability. I know I've been distracted. And that's why even now, like, I cut out so much at the beginning of this year. That's why I went vegan cold turkey. I cut out sex. I cut out alcohol. Like, people thinking I'm, like, joking with it. It's like, no, bro. Like I said, it's life or death. And like you said, like I said earlier, you said too, we both saying it. It's purpose. And that's why when I brought this back, I'm like, before when I first started, like, yeah, it's a brand, this is what we do. I'm like, no, this is bigger than a brand. This is purpose. It doesn't get bigger than purpose. And at the end of the day, what this is like where I'm going to take it. Obviously, I think it's okay. Everybody don't see the vision just yet, and that's fine. But I'm going to work every day until it's seen because this is purpose. And then when it's purpose, it can't go nowhere.
Bro,
and that's why I said it's therapy. It's easy for me to come do this.
Your purpose is undefeated. When you get off the path of your purpose, then that's when we all lose.
Yeah.
Bro, as long as you're in this matrix called a human body, a meat suit, this carcass that we walk around in, you have the propensity to be attacked by your darker nature. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting up here on holier than thou. I don't make mistakes. I've arrived.
Yeah, that part.
I'm not flawless, homie. I'm faithful to my purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not flawless, but I'm faithful to my purpose. And if I end up being faithful to my purpose, bro, my flaws can't touch me.
Exactly.
Because you moving in a place of being genuine. You moving in a place of being authentic. Like if somebody's walking by, right? This is why perspective is big. Somebody's walking by, they see us talking. And then I spit on your shoe. They might have thought I spit on your shoe. They didn't know I was choking. See, that's why you got to get the big picture of everything instead of just making an assumption of what you just saw from your truth. Yeah. I have something.
I'm glad you say your truth.
Your truth. And that's why I say it's three sides to a story. It's your truth, my truth, and the facts. People say your side, my side, and the truth. No. It's your truth, my truth, and the facts. So if you're looking at a number 6 and I'm looking at a number 9.
Yeah, exactly. We both right.
Arguing about a 6 and a 9.
Exactly.
The thing is that your truth is 6, my truth is a 9, but the fact is that it's a number. It's not until I get up from my own perspective and come, oh, hold on, Brody. Yeah. That is a 6. And you like, dang, Baggs. Yeah. That is a 9. Yeah,
exactly.
So now we're in a space where we can really overstand one another.
Exactly.
Even if you're grounded in your 6 and I'm grounded in my 9.
And it don't have to be an argument. It's just it's a fact. Okay, and we can still move forward.
2 things can be true.
Exactly. You said 2 things can?
Two things can be true at a time.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Like you might call it gravity and I might call it cavity. Yeah. But I'm still falling.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like when people, we get, sometimes the semantics of it, especially when it's an inarguable principle like gravity or like oxygen or like the sun, we can get caught up in semantics. But those things don't need to be validated by your ignorance. The beach and the tide don't give a dang about your opinion. It's gonna keep flowing back and forth. A shark gonna do what a shark do. You ain't never seen no lion jump in the water to do what a shark does, and a shark go in the air to do what an eagle do. But they all operate in their own place, divine order.
Divine time.
Once we operate in our divine order, imagine how we have dominion over them.
Yeah.
So the reason why we're not winning culturally, holistically, is because we're not operating in that divine order.
Exactly.